This Ordo Hydrosonic is one of, if not the best cordless water flosser available to those living in the UK. This is an impressive product that competes with the big brand alternatives. In fact, it does a couple of things better whilst being considerably cheaper. Previously, I regarded the Waterpik Cordless Advanced as the product to beat, so I'll make a few comparisons between that and the Ordo Hydrosonic throughout this video. I've yet to use any flossers that make it as effortless to rotate the nozzle as the Cordless Advanced does. The Hydrosonic doesn't get close here. The nozzle can be turned, but it's very difficult to do so, and I needed two hands to do it. It's similar, if not a touch stiffer, to a lot of the other water flossers I've tried. For me, this isn't a big deal. I'm used to rotating my hand to reach the right spots in the mouth, rather than the nozzle. However, I find it easier to have a nozzle that rotates easily. If you're a first-time water flosser user, you may find it easier too. During my testing of the Hydrosonic, I found that the last few millilitres of water didn't drain from the water tank that easily. I needed to tilt it to use all the water up and get another 3 to 5 seconds of flossing time. A minor inconvenience, but not a deal breaker. I think it's a bit of a shame you don't get a basic travel pouch case with the Hydrosonic either. A pouch isn't essential, but I found it handy for travelling. It protects other things in my bag if the flosser's wet after use. Again, this isn't a big deal. A large enough Ziploc bag and a quick dry of the flosser solve this problem if needs be. Having tested a wide range of water flossers now, I would say the downsides I've just described are worth putting up with given the lower price of the Ordo compared to the competition. This lower price combined with the benefits I'm about to explain is what has led me to give it such a strong recommendation. Firstly, the top mounted notification lights for the 3 different modes are simply genius. It made it easier to see what mode was active whilst flossing, and I could change intensities with more confidence as I could see the LED without taking the flosser out of the mouth. Every other flosser has them on the front. I found the medium setting to be the most comfortable. The high was quite intense at a claimed 130 psi. That's far more powerful than Waterpik's products and the vast majority of other flossers, including countertop units. Power doesn't always equal better cleaning results. In fact, used incorrectly, it can damage the gums. But I found it useful to have as an option at times when I'm trying to flush out a particularly stubborn bit of debris. I have no complaints about the cleaning results. The mess in my sink proved it could dislodge debris I didn't even know was in my mouth. I've got no reason to suggest the results are worse than any comparable water flosser, but I couldn't tell you they were better. The 260ml water tank on the Hydrosonic is one of the largest available on cordless models, and is about 50ml more than the cordless Advanced. But the total usage time wasn't all that different. I achieved a minimum of 50 seconds on the high mode and around 60 seconds on the low mode. Now that I'm quite adept with a water flosser, I've found that this is enough time to not have to refill the tank. If you're a bit slower, whilst you get used to using one, you may find that you need to refill it to complete a session, but that's not the biggest inconvenience. Waterpik usually provides a variety of tip styles in the box. You don't get this with Ordo, which probably helps keep the cost down and stops unnecessary waste. There isn't quite the same number of tip styles, but the more popular periodontal and orthodontic tips can be purchased separately for the Hydrosonic. Unless you're looking for something very specific, this range of tips should be fine. Personally, I only need to use the standard tips that's included in the box. The Ordo Hydrosonic includes an on-demand button that only releases water whilst the button is pressed. It's not the first flosser to have one, and in the past I have not been won over by them, but for some reason it clicked with me whilst using the Hydrosonic. I found I used it far more than the main power button. Yes, I had to keep it pressed to keep the water flowing, but the moment it's released the water stops. Normally, if I want to stop the water flowing, I have to fiddle to find the power button. The on-demand button makes daily use easier in my opinion. Unfortunately, it doesn't help make water flossing any less messy. Maybe it's just me, but I do think the Cordless Advanced is marginally more comfortable in the hand, but kudos to Ordo for the larger grips on the back of the flosser that help significantly in keeping a firm hold of it. They are raised and soft to the touch and work superbly. I found that the larger protruding grip at the top creates a lovely lip the finger naturally rests on. Being able to remove the base of the reservoir makes it easy to clean and dry the tank. I know people complain about other flossers getting mouldy. This won't happen here. Being able to store 2 nozzles in the removable tank compartment is another stroke of genius. A select few other flossers offer similar, but such useful features are in the minority rather than being the norm. The only catch here is I do find removing the tank a bit tough. It's very secure. Perhaps it will ease up as I use it more and more. The travel lock is another wonderful feature. It disables all the buttons until you unlock them. You probably won't need to use it all that often, but having it just makes sense. If you're concerned about the noise, it operates at up to 74 decibels, which is comparable to most cordless models. It's louder than most sonic toothbrushes and comparable noise to an Oral-B brush. With a USB Type-C connector, it is really easy to recharge too. No bulky or proprietary power adapter. Waterpik's magnetic charger feels easier to use as it automatically clips into place thanks to the magnets, but it is far bulkier and less travel friendly. You don't need to charge the Hydrosonic all that often. Ordo suggests 4+ weeks, and that seems to be about right for my use. Finally, the price. At £45, not accounting for the odd discount Ordo does offer, the Hydrosonic is great value for money. It works out at about £45 less than the cordless Advanced over 3 years of ownership. It's been some time coming, but this is a worthwhile competitor to the Waterpik cordless Advanced and Sonicare cordless Power Flosser 3000. Click the link in the description to buy the Hydrosonic water flosser from Ordo.